Welcoming all of you to the Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Sita Priti Mataji on the call with us. Mataji is going to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much for being on the call. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for giving your very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on this topic. I now hand over the call to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Am I audible, Mataji? Like, is it okay?
It sounds a little far. If you can come closer to the microphone, that would help.
Is it okay now?
It's
much
slow,
better.
Mataji.
Okay.
Hello? Okay. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's
Hare
better
Krishna.
now, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak. I know you all know much more better than me. So I will just try to repeat whatever our Guru Varga has explained in our scriptures. And please forgive me if I go wrong anywhere, and please correct me wherever you feel that you need to correct me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavate Naishtike Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamalini Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Te Pankajagre. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam Angulangai Tekiram Yadkapatam Ahambande Paramananda Madhavam Shri Gurum Dinatayam. So today we read from Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 5 and 6. We just recently started this chapter yesterday. It's Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial area. Okay. Text 5. Atah kamamimam vidvan avidya kama karmabhi arabde iti naivesham pratibuddho nushadate. Meaning, ataha, therefore, kayam, body, imam, this, vidvan, he who has knowledge, avidya, by innocence, kama, desire, karmabhi, and by activities, arabdha, created, iti, thus, na, never, eva, certainly, asmin, to this body, pratibuddha, one who knows, anushajte, being addicted. Translation. Those who are in full knowledge of the bodily conception of life, who know that this body is composed of nescience, desires, and activities resulting from illusion, do not become addicted to the body. Purport. As stated in previous verse, those with good intellect, Shuddhya, do not accept themselves to be the body. Being a creation of nescience, the body has two types of activities. In the bodily conception, when we think that sense gratification will help us, we are in illusion. Another kind of illusion is To think that one will become happy by trying to satisfy the desires that arise from the illusory body, or by attaining elevation to the higher planetary systems, or by performing various types of Vedic rituals. This is all illusion. Similarly, material activities performed by political emancipation and social and humanitarian activities performed with an idea that people of the world will be happy are also illusory, because the basic principle is the bodily conception, which is illusory. Whatever we desire or perform under the bodily conception is all illusion. In other words, Lord Vishnu informed Prithu Maharaj that although the sacrificial performances set an example for ordinary people, there was no need for such sacrificial performances as far as his personal self was concerned. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.45, Traigunya Vishaye Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirbandho Nitya Sattvasto Niryogakshema Atmavan. The Vedas mainly deal with the subject of the three modes of material nature. Rise above these modes, O Arjuna. Be transcendental to all of them. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties, for gain and safety, and be established in the self. The ritualistic performances recommended in the Vedas mainly depend on the three modes of material nature. Consequently, Arjuna was advised to transcend the Vedic activities. The activities Arjuna was advised to perform were the transcendental activities of devotional service. Text 6. Asasaktam shariresmin amonotpade krihe apatya dravine vapi kaha kuryam mamatam buddha. Ashamstata being unattached, sharire to the body, asmin this, amuna by such a bodily conception, utpadite produced, grahe house, apatte children, dravine wealth, va or, api also, kaha who, kuryat would do, matmam affinity, buddha learned person. Translation: how can a highly learned person who has absolutely no affinity for the bodily conception of life be affected by the bodily conception in regard to house, children, wealth, and similar other bodily productions? The Vedic ritualistic ceremony purport. The Vedic ritualistic ceremonies are certainly meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. However, by such activities one does not factually satisfy the Lord. Rather, with the sanction of the Lord, one tries to satisfy one's own senses. In other words, materialists who are especially interested in sense gratification are given permission or license to enjoy sense gratification by executing the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. This is called Traigunya Vishaye Veda. The Vedic performances are based on the three modes of material nature. Those who are elevated above the material condition are not at all interested in such Vedic performances. Rather, they are interested in the higher duties of transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such devotional service is called Nistraigunya. Devotional service to the Lord has nothing to do with the material conception of bodily comfort. Srimad Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, when we started with this chapter of Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena, we've seen that the last chapter we have seen that how Prithu Maharaj was, the yagya was disturbed by Lord Indra, and then now we see that how the Lord at the 99th sacrifice that it was done, how the Lord has appeared at the sacrifice, Lord Vishnu has appeared at the sacrificial area. And we've also seen that, this is just to give a glossary of what we have done so that we can continue from there. So we've also seen that the Lord does not come alone, he comes with Indra along with him. And he also tells that Indra has come for asking forgiveness, and the Lord Vishnu tells Maharaj Prithu that you should forgive him, because forgiveness is the best quality of a person who is advanced in the spiritual knowledge. So Maharaj Prithu, doing the sacrifice, he is doing the sacrifice for the benefit, he is not doing it for himself. He is doing the sacrifice for the benefit of his praja, the benefit of the people in his kingdom. The big chapter tells us about how Mother Earth was not sharing the opulence she had, and then how everything went well, and then the sacrifice, the yajna was performed. So now Lord Vishnu tells him that Lord Indra has come along with me, and you have to forgive him, because forgiveness is going to be the best quality of a spiritual enlightened person. Also he tells us that, also the verse, like the third verse tells us that we do not have to be envy, or we do not have to be malicious towards anyone. We should be aware that this is just the material body, and what is more important in this for our life is the soul. That everybody has to concentrate on the upliftment of the soul by performing spiritual activities. Now when we say that we have to get advanced, like how do personalities get advanced? In the fourth verse we have seen that Maharaj Prithu was called as an advanced devotee. Why? Because whatever yajna he has done, or whatever he has been following, it is in accordance with the parampara. He did not do anything by himself. He has followed the previous acharyas, and he has followed the liberated souls, and that is the reason Maharaj Prithu falls under the advanced devotees, and he is a great devotee of the Lord. So now when we go ahead, we have to, in this specific verse, the verse number 5, we'll again go with the translation part. Those who are in full knowledge of the bodily conception of life, who know that this body is composed of nescience, desire and activities resulting from illusion, do not become addicted to the body. That means, over here, like it is as if in a disease, what we know that what is the end result is that a person has been affected. So same way, in our this human life, we are getting, if we are not into devotional service, if we are not into spiritual life, if there is a highly possibility that we will become addicted to this body, the bodily comfort, and also the bodily miseries. So what is Lord Vishnu is instructing Maharaj Prithu in this text 5 and text 6, that how he should be doing his yajna, and why this yajna was important, and we'll see in the further part that was it really important, or how important are these yajnas in our spiritual development. So the main word which is emphasized over here is illusion. Now all of us at some point are in illusion, and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have at least understood this part, that we have to uplift ourselves, we have to bring our souls to that platform that where it can get connected to its spiritual father. So this illusion is all in Maya. Srila Prabhupada says that Maya, we are in illusion or Maya. We are accepting something temporary as permanent. When we talk about this material body, What we say is that this, some of us, or from the beginning, before we came into Krishna consciousness, we all were identifying ourselves as this body. When we do something, when we dress up, or when we eat, when we hear something, it is all for our bodily comfort. So we have to uplift ourselves from this bodily comfort and go to a point wherein we have to understand what is important for my soul. How will my soul be benefited from this? The body is temporary. When we die, the body is going to be burnt into ashes. So what remains eternal is the soul. So why not do something? Srila Prabhupada explains in his in one of the classes that if we know that this body is temporary, then why do we have to endure more to make this body, which is not going to stay with us long, and then too we are pampering this body? Why not concentrate on the soul, which is a permanent, which is more permanent? He also explains that, Srila Prabhupada also explains that whatever wealth we acquire in this material life, we say, oh, I am going to live happily, I can have my 4 generations to live a very peaceful life, a very happy life. But how can we be sure? We do not know how long is our life. How can we be sure that whatever we are enduring is going to help us? Rather, if we are, like just example is given about the bank balance. If I have a certain amount in my bank balance, at the time of death, I cannot carry that and go ahead. That bank balance, that property, that land, or whatever house I have is going to be over here. I cannot take that and go. While on the other hand, if I do some devotional service, Srila Prabhupada is so merciful that he also tells us that 1%, even 1% of the devotional service which you do, that will be registered under your account, and it will go along with you for your next life. So if I know that this bank balance is not going to help me again in my next life, I have to start from zero, then why should I be bothered that I should just, whatever is necessary, that does not mean that I should be in rags. Whatever is necessary for my this body to sustain in the spiritual development, I should only endeavor for that much. Other, I can always donate it to the temple, I can always help it others to help them for their devotional activities. So when we talk about illusion, the very important point is that we are going for something which is temporary and which is not going to be permanent. The riches are not going to help us, it is not going to accompany us basically. Because the body, we all know, right, the chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita emphasizes all on the body and how the soul is important and what the bodily changes are. Where Lord Shri Krishna is instructing or is advising Arjuna about how important his spiritual upliftment is. Because Arjuna is stuck at a point that what is best for him. Now again in the further part we'll come to know that basically in the text 6, that this advice which the Lord is giving is not very cheap. You shouldn't be taking it so lightly, because it is very few personalities that the Lord advises. You do not see every now and then that Lord Krishna is coming in front of us and advising us. So when we say that Arjuna was bewildered, was Arjuna really bewildered? He is really playing a role of a devotee. He is the best devotee of the Lord, the friend of the Lord, who is in a part of bewilderment, and this is with reference to us all that the Lord is giving this instruction, so that we in this material world can go ahead and bring ourselves to a platform where we can go above the modes of nature. Because there are modes of each and every human being is being affected by the modes of nature, because the modes of nature are there who are going to play an important role in our day-to-day activity. Normally the very best example what we say is the Brahma Murta is the mode of goodness. Then in the later part of the day we are in mode of passion, where we are in work, where we are in the doing work for either for our family or in the offices, and then the third part is in the ignorance, and that is the Brahma Murta, or the mode of goodness is considered to be important, or it's considered to be good for our spiritual upliftment. And that is the reason in the Bhakti Japa conference call we have wonderful chanting session also in the morning. So now when we come to the further part, what Srila Prabhupada explains is that we all say that okay, we have to transcend the modes of nature, or we have to come out of this illusion. But when we say that we have to come out of this illusion, Srila Prabhupada gives an example of a glass filled with water. Whenever we are preaching also, what we do is, we do not directly go and say to anyone, oh, you do not do this activity, this is not good for your spiritual development, just leave that activity and come with me for chanting. You cannot do that, because each and every human being is a conditioned soul. Srila Prabhupada also explains that we are all diseased. We have come over here to cure ourselves. And everyone has some or the other. Someone will have envy, at some point we will have jealousy. So everyone is affected. And we have come over here to uplift ourselves and to cure ourselves. So we cannot go on criticizing anyone that, oh, you are such a downfall person, you do not chant, or you do not do any spiritual activity, you are no good. We cannot do that, because we ourselves have been affected by it. We have the example of a sadhu, right? The mother comes with her child to the sadhu. And she says, why don't you, Swamiji, why don't you instruct my child and ask him not to eat sweets? So what does the sadhu say, the Swami say? He says, okay, come after 2 weeks and then I will talk to him. She comes after 2 weeks again. And then the Swamiji tells him that you, from today onwards, you see to it that you are not eating more sweets. So the mother says that this was the only instruction you had to give. So you could have given this the first time I came. So what does the Swamiji say? That before instructing somebody else, I had to see that I am following it myself. When I can follow it, only then I can instruct somebody else. So we have to come to the platform, or we have to bring ourselves to the platform where we are following our acharyas. And then we have to also bring the other souls back to Krishna. Because that will be the greatest and the biggest devotional service which we can do for the Lord. So now what does Srila Prabhupada give example is of a glass of water. He says that if you have a glass of water and if you want to fill it up with milk, what will you do? You cannot just keep on filling the glass of water with milk, because what is going to happen? It is going to dilute the milk. So neither it will be milk nor it will be water. That means, in other words, we are just polluting it. In other words, what we have to do, we have to slowly increase, we have to remove the water, that is, we have to detach from the water. The water has to be taken away from the glass, and only then the milk can be replaced by it. So over here, Srila Prabhupada introduces the word of detachment. That means we cannot leave all our activities which we have been doing for so long. So it's one by at a time which we can do it, that it has to be just replaced. We do not have to tell anyone, or we do not have to tell ourselves, oh, I'm going to miss this part now. I do not have to look at this movie. Because when you say no to a person, or when you say no to yourself also, it becomes hard to digest. It becomes, oh, why am I leaving this? Then you start asking questions. Why am I leaving this? Who told me to do this? And then you start getting into the feeling of envy. That, oh, I'm doing it for Krishna. Why am I doing it? What is he doing for me? So this all things will start coming up. So on the other hand, the best approach, or the safest approach, is that we should be slowly including one devotional activity into our life. And then gradually it will happen that you do not have to think that I'm removing this activity. Okay, I'm watching something on the TV. Why don't we watch something which is related to Krishna? Our kids are around. Why don't we watch some pastimes of Krishna? Instead of any nonsense music which you are watching, there are so many bhajans to be listened to. There are so many good stories which are there on different channels and different sites from our parampara. So we can always replace them. Now the word illusion again, when we come back to illusion, the purport says over here, another kind of illusion is to think that one will become happy by trying to satisfy the desire that arises from the illusory body. Now see, everywhere wherever the purport is mentioned, it is mentioned illusory body, or by attaining elevation to the higher planetary system. As we said that we have been into this material world for a long time, and by the mercy of Guru and Srila Prabhupada, we have at least come to understand that where we have to be. Otherwise, what we think is, oh my, if I go and eat in a restaurant, if I eat this fancy thing, fancy item, it is going to make me happy. But we do not understand that that food which we eat is a temporary happiness. After the day, I am going to lose that taste. Again, I will feel like eating that. So that is not going to help me anyway. When we say that, okay, I will do this Vedic sacrifices, I'll do this, and I will do all the good work or the good karma I will earn, and then I will go to higher planet. But what will I do after going to the higher planet? And until I have all the good karma which I have acquired in this life, I will enjoy in over there. But again, when my bag of the good karma is finished, I'll again come back down. So what is the use of this temporary, again and again going back, coming down, going back, coming down? This somewhere has to stop. The Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, these are the characteristic of the material nature, which we will be stuck after life birth, if we go on continuing with the same path. We have to also understand that we say that we have to control our senses. Now when we have to control our senses, we say the best, Krishna is also known as Rishikesha. That means he is the master of senses. If we have to learn some subject, what do? We go to a teacher who is the master in that subject, and only then we can learn that subject. So same way, if we have to control our senses, the tongue, touch, the senses, if we have to control, we have to pray to Lord Krishna, because he is Rishikesha. He is the master of all the senses, and only if he helps us, then we will be out of this bewilderment and we will be out of this illusion. So when we say about the higher planetary and the various activities which we do, now we see many of them, right? Like we say that, oh, we are just chanting, this is your good, go and help some people out over there. There are so many hungry people over there. There are so many homeless people over there. What is your spiritual activity just going to do? Why don't you do some practical work? And Srila Prabhupada has given us answers to those critics also. It is that when I know that a person is drowning, the example is of a drowning person. When I know that a person is drowning, what will I do? Will I just go and take the cloth of the person and bring the cloth out? Or will I go and hold the person's arm and get that person out? That is to be understood. That what am I doing? This body, which is temporary, is of no use unless and until the soul over in the body is getting its nourishment or is getting the exact knowledge which it needs. So helping a person, if I know that, okay, one family is hungry, what do? I just give them food. But what next? If it is that the person is going to be hungry for a certain amount of time, they are going to be hungry. So I'm just going to postpone one day at a time for them. How many days can I do that? Not ever, right? So I have to see that how can I eternally help that soul instead of helping that body. How can I help it? So what do? Srila Prabhupada has given us answer to that as well. I know that, okay, as a human being, I need to help that person who is in trouble. But instead of just giving him some food, why do not I just go one step ahead and give them prasadam? That is like we say that do some good deeds. I'm doing it. But at the same time, I am giving them Krishna prasadam, which will help them to get rid of their karma and which will help them gradually in any lifetime, or maybe this lifetime if they get into bhakti, that they will be able to come to the spiritual enlightenment. They will be able to bring themselves to the process of bhakti. Some way or the other, we have to see that each and every living being gets back to his eternal Father. So again, coming back to the illusion part, over here it is written in the purport that material activities performed for political emancipation and social and humanitarian activities performed with an idea that people of the world will be happy is an illusory. It is illusion because it is just a temporary relief that is not going to help that body, or that it is not going to help that soul eternally. So we have to do something which will help them for their next life, and so that they at least feeding them prasadam in this life, they might come into Krishna consciousness this life itself. Or because of having the Sukruti, because of having the good fortune of having Krishna prasadam, in some life form they will be able to get back into bhakti. So next when we go is, in the Bhagavad Gita also we have explained, there is explained about the three modes of material nature. That means the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. In the mode of goodness, it is that we are elevated to the higher standard of life. In the mode of passion, it is that we are doing the same things and will remain in the same position. But on the other hand, if we are on the mode of ignorance, it will be a degraded life. That means you are not raising yourself, or you are not coming yourself anywhere into the into bhakti. So how can we go out of this like mode? What does Lord say in the Bhagavad Gita 2.45? How is the Lord instructing Arjuna? Is Trigunya Vishaye Veda Nistrigunya Bhavajana Nirvanvo Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. That means the Vedas, the meaning over here, the Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to this mode, to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. That means first we are coming to a mode, okay, at least come into the mode of goodness. Then what he says, then what Lord tells Arjuna is that now come above this mode of three modes of material nature. Do not get stuck in this modes of material nature. What does the Vedas tell us? The Vedas tells us about all the ritualistic activities which we have to do. All the ritualistic activities which we are doing is definitely to help the to please the Lord. Okay, so when we are in this level, the Vedas is telling us that it will help us to stay happy, and it will help us in this material world. But our goal is not only to stay in this material world and be happy and be stuck in over here, but we have to go ahead. We have to find out who is God, how can I serve Him better, and what is my relationship with the God. So after the Vedas, it is like the Upanishads give us this information of this enlightenment, that who is God, who is our eternal Father, and how can we go towards Him. Then again it is the Puranas which describe the God of how to, the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said as the ripened fruit of the Vedas. So the Puranas, they describe the God and what are the characteristics of the God and how our soul can be engaged in the eternal service of the Lord. So this way we have to gradually take ourselves into that platform. Now in this material body, we are in this material body, so distractions are going to be there. Like we know that though we are into bhakti for so many years into Krishna consciousness, then too we have our ups and downs, and we have distractions into our bhakti. Sometimes the japa does not go well, or sometimes we have the envy feeling with our with the devotees. So we have to learn. Krishna says that one has to learn tolerance, and with the dualities of happiness and distress. This is the material world. The distress, the happiness, the cold, warmth, this is going to be there. But we have to transcend that position by achieving the full Krishna prema or full Krishna consciousness, and then we have to depend only on the goodwill of Krishna for this. Only if we are engaging ourselves in the service of Krishna, He will give us the exact knowledge, and He will give us the exact way how to transcend the modes of material nature. Because the modes of material nature are going to play an important role. Each and every second of our life, when we are reacting, when we are acting in a certain way, it is under the mode of material nature. We cannot directly, as of now, without doing anything, say that, oh, I'm going to be detached and I'm going to be free from the modes of material nature. We cannot do that. Because if we do it suddenly, what will happen? For a time being, that thing will be gone, that desire will be gone. but we are not totally eradicating the desire from ourselves. So we have to work over it to get some Krishna consciousness activities into it, get some service attitude into it, and then these negative thoughts, these negative things will go on changing. Okay, the next part which I had on my is about the senses, that how to engage the senses. When we say that we have to bring ourselves to above the modes of nature or of the material nature, it is that the tongue. What do? We talk with the tongue. We are chatting with the tongue. Sometimes we are gossiping. So how to get this? How to get out of the sense gratification? Like with the tongue, the sense gratification is that I might be gossiping. I might be reading something which is not necessary for my spiritual life, or else I might be eating something which is not prasadam. So how do I get each and every of my senses to follow that I do not have the sense gratification? For the tongue is that we can chant. Chanting is the best process recommended for this Kali Yuga. So I can chant. I can eat prasadam. That is the way I can purify the senses. So at one step at a time, I have to go on purifying these senses. Now when I talk about all these, believe me, I'm still working hard on my own senses. So I really am no position to guide anyone or tell anyone. But this is, as Srila Prabhupada says, that preaching is for our own purification. Our acharyas also say. So I hope I can apply this in my life. So when we talk about our body, instead of concentrating on how beautifully I can decorate my body, the body is, when it dies again, it is going to go into the soil. It is going to be burnt or cremated, and it is again going to be mixed up into the nature. So what do I do with this body? Instead of decorating it with heavy makeup, instead of decorating it with nice different ornaments, we have to do it, because when we go in front of the Lord, we say that we have to go it in a very nice mood. But we should not be into sense gratification. Oh, how beautiful I am! Look, nobody is beautiful like me. We do not have to get into that thing. What do? Use my body as a tool for the Lord, as in the service of the Lord. When I say that, instead of going and looking at different things, or how beautiful this cloth is, touching this and that, what we can do is the sense of touch can be used in the bead bag. Touch the beads. And when we are chanting, if we consider that the beads are no other than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet, and we are touching his feet and then moving ahead. We are touching, every bead is as if I am touching the Lord's feet, and then I am going to the next bead. This itself is, the thought itself is so purifying. I know every time I chant, I cannot get this mood, but we have to struggle and we have to get into that mode, that I'm touching the Lord's feet and then I'm moving on to the next bead. So this will help to purify our touch sense. The eyes, instead of watching like the nowadays when you see on TV and the screen, there are such useless things going on, which we are, as the generations are going, the foolishness goes on increasing instead of decreasing. So instead of looking at that, what we can say is, when we have kids around with us, we can see something related to Krishna. There are so many things. We can see the Mangal Aarti going in any temple. We can listen to any lecture which is going on. Instead of having any sort of music which is going on in the car, there are so many bhajans. If we have the Madhava rock band, right? And if we listen to His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj, the rock band over there, that can be any pop music which is going on. That will have no significance in front of those. Now recently, last week, I was watching the Polish festival under the guidance of His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj. If you listen to the music, if you listen to the mantra, in what different ways the mantra was being chanted, it was mind-blowing. Each and every instrument was used over there. So each and every material thing is the material nature, right? It has been made by the Lord. So you have to use, like we had heard a lecture by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, and he said that we do not have to say that, oh, this is material nature, I am not going to use this in my life. No, we do not have to do that. That is material nature. It has been created by the Lord. So why don't we use that also in the service of the Lord? I have a guitar, then I have some other musical instrument. Why do not I use that instrument to in some of the bhajans which we are singing, or in some of the chanting of the songs which we are using. And it can be very well used if we just go on to on YouTube, and if we just go to see Indradivana Maharaj, the band. They are wonderful. The Madhava Rock Band. They have beautiful videos of different problems which we have in chanting, or how people perceive. So there are so many things to watch. And if we are in service, to be very frank, you do not get time to watch any of this. So the best time to hear is when you are driving to the temple, coming back to the temple, or when you are driving kids somewhere. So if we are in service, we do not really get time for all these useless things. So, okay. So coming back to our topic. Now, how is this connected to our purpose? What does Lord Vishnu say? In other words, Lord Vishnu informs us reading from the purpose. Lord Vishnu informed Priti Maharaj that although the sacrificial performances set an example for ordinary people, there was no need for such sacrificial performances as far as personal self was concerned. That means the Vedas, this is the Vedic sacrifices which are mentioned, right? So the Lord is saying that these sacrifices are not important. In the earlier chapter, what we heard was that the 99 sacrifices were done. And instead of doing the 100 sacrifices and then coming at the platform of Indra, what did Priti Maharaj do? The last sacrifice which was done was the sacrifice of his ego, that he is doing the sacrifices. And because he did not want to do that 100 sacrifice, which was also the wish of the Lord was pleased with him more. That means we are doing these sacrifices, we are doing these services to please the Lord. So why do not we do such things which are going to be beneficial, or which are going to be favoring for the Lord? When the Lord wants something, we can do that. And who tells us what the Lord wants? The Guru and Shastra. We can always refer to them and understand what is exactly required of us. So when we go to this completed the illusion part, and I'm just saying that I do not miss out on any of my. Okay. Now when we say illusion, again, the illusion word is more emphasized in this verse, so we'll just explain what exactly illusion is, why are we in illusion. So when Srila Prabhupada says that when we are behind something temporary and we forget whatever is permanent, we are in illusion. That is Maya. Again, illusion in Bhagavad Gita 7.27, it is explained that when one is deluded into separation from this pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means when we are going to forget Krishna, when we are going to forget our connection with Krishna, we are getting separated from him. And when we are getting separated from him, what will happen? The Maya energy will say, okay, you are nowhere, come into my arms, come into me, come with me, I will show you what the real happiness is. Because Maya Devi is also the energy of the Lord. And the Lord, because of our wish, we are stuck over here. And the Lord says, those who are not in here, let them be into Maya. Let them. And Maya Devi is doing her work perfectly. She has been asked by the Lord that you engage all these conditioned souls into the illusionary energy. And if at all from these, if some soul gets inspired by any of the acharyas, then any of the spiritual masters, and wants to know about me, then they can always be out from the illusionary energy. But till we are in this illusionary energy, till we are separated from the Lord, we will always be into this illusionary energy, because we do not have the pure knowledge of the Lord. What we will do is we will just try to do the sense gratification. We will always try to be independent of the Lord. And like there are so many people, right? You know, the scientists and so many, they take all the credit. Oh yes, I did this, I found this. So they get into the false ego. And the reason of getting into illusion is the sense gratification. And the sense gratification is because of the false ego, that I am body, I am an American. Srila Prabhupada says, right, that unless and until we forget ourselves to identify with this body, we are going nowhere. We will be stuck in this bodily form. That I am an American, I am an Indian, this belongs to me, I have made this, I have found this. But we do not understand that this body, the subtle body, the gross body is all the creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 3.27 also it is mentioned that the subtle body is the creation of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He is the master of the senses, and He is going, and if until we pray to Him, we cannot be free from this sense gratification. We will be bewildered by the false ego, and we will be stuck in this world. It's like a dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapte dhiraspatra na muhyate. That means we are spirit souls. We have to be part and parcels of the Lord, and we have to connect it to Him. If we are not, then we'll be stuck in this body, and the janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, we will be always into that cycle. So misidentification of ourself is one thing which we have to get out from. The Bhagavad Gita, many of the chapter 2 is all instruction given in with respect to that. So when we move to the further part of the 6th verse, the 6th verse, just to read the translation again. How can a highly learned person who has absolutely no affinity for the bodily conception of life be affected by the bodily conception in regard to house, children, wealth, and similar other bodily productions? So over here again now, Lord is instructing, Lord is advising. The lecture, when I listened to one of the classes on this verse, it is that the Lord is instructing over here. And we should always know that the Lord instructed only those of His pure devotees who have been at the platform wherein they could understand that the Lord does not come and instruct each and every one of us. And Prithu Maharaj was doing the Vedic sacrifices, but he was not doing it for himself. He was doing it for the people. We have seen right in the last chapter that he was a Shakti avatar. That means the avatar which he was empowered by the Lord. Buddha was also a Shakti avatar because they were empowered by the Lord. So we are also human beings. We are also part and parcels of the Lord. But we are not still empowered by the Lord, so as the Lord will come and instruct us and will advise us. So we have to always go back to the Shastras and the scriptures. So over here, the thing which is emphasized, the words which are emphasized in this para is that unattachment. We have to get detached, and we do not have to have the Asam Shakti, that is being unattached. How we can be unattached and then transcend ourselves to the platform wherein the Vedic rituals will be the first step, and slowly how we can advance and get our soul to the permanent destination. When the Lord instructed Arjuna was into the was covered by Maya. What he thought was that why am I doing this, or why am I killing my loved ones? But once the Lord says that do you have to be stuck up in this material world, or do you have to follow what the Lord has said and then help others also? Because in the war of Kurukshetra, what the Lord said, that these are all already dead. Whether you kill them or not kill them, they are already dead. So what is the best way for us is listen what the Lord is saying. Listen, where will the Lord instruct us? In the scriptures. He's already instructed us what exactly our role is in this life and how we should go ahead with it. And whom does the Lord instruct? The one who is surrendered to the Lord. Because when we surrender to the Lord, we say that we are surrendered to the Lord, but every time some difficulty comes up, we get bewildered. Oh, what will happen? What will happen? If we are surrendered to the Lord, what will happen? We have to just believe in the Lord that whatever He is doing is going to be for my best, and then it will be just taken care of. You do your chanting, you do your spiritual activities, and you will find a way out. Like if we just look back some years back when we had some problems in our life, and now when we look at those problems, we understand, oh, those were not really problems. Those were some plans by the Lord so as to get me into bhakti. Some people, because of their problems, they might go away. And some people, they might understand that this is the Lord's mercy, that I am getting these difficulties, or whatever problem is coming, there is some hidden plan by the Lord. So once we come to understand that, then we can get free from this material entanglement of this, or the Trigunya Vishaya Veda, that is the modes of the material nature. That is the modes of the material nature which are acting. We can slowly free ourselves, because these gunas are what? Ropes. And these ropes, they are explained in the Bhagavad Gita, is that they are wound against each other. And if there is one rope at a time, we can always cut it, right? So, but these all, like, we cannot say that we cannot say about ourselves that I am always in the mode of goodness. No, I am in the mode of goodness along with the mode of passion. I might be in the mode of ignorance along with the mode of passion. So, these ropes or the gunas are all twisted together. And they see to it that this person is stuck up over here. So we have to slowly get out of this. And this can happen only by the mercy of the Lord. It cannot just come by itself. If we show our inclination towards the Lord, our surrender towards the Lord will help us to come out of this bodily conception and then get us towards the platform wherein we will get to the platform of Nistragunya. And what is Nistragunya? It is explained as in the Bhagavad Gita 2.45. It is said that the Trigunya Vishaya Veda Nistragunya Bhavarjana. That means transcend to these modes of the material nature. Or we have to come to the platform wherein we can go above the mode of material nature. Now, in one of the explanations wherein there was a book distribution going on, and this was, I think, in Vrindavan, that Prabhu had also posted a video clipping of it, that the person over there, we not only in India but everywhere, what we know, that if we have read the Bhagavad Gita since our childhood, we say, oh, we have understood the Bhagavad Gita. If I've learned the verses, I said, oh, I know about the Bhagavad Gita, everything. You take a Bhagavad Gita to a person and he says, oh, I know it, I've been learning it, I know all these verses. But we do not know the application of that verses. So we are in the mode of ignorance over there. And the height of mode of ignorance over there was, in that specific instance, that in the further chapters also we'll say that there is a word called as Nirguna. And that person, because when that person came and he was saying that over here it is saying Nirguna. Now, Nirguna means that who is beyond the modes of material nature. The gunas are not affecting that the Lord. But that person who had come to the bookstall put up an argument that, oh, the Lord is Nirguna. That means he is without the gunas. Now, when such a person comes in such a level of ignorance, when they come, that these gunas are under the Lord's will, and you say that the Lord is Nirguna, that means he does not have come under he does not he has the modes of material nature and he is acted upon by it. So it is the height of ignorance which the people are in. So the Lord is instructing Maharaj Priti in such a way that you are doing this for the betterment of all the people. But these Vedic sacrifices really have no meaning unless and until you surrender to the Lord. I hope I have completed everything over here. One second, I'll just look if I'm missing up anything. Yeah. Now again, why in in the verse 6, it is mainly about the instruction by the Lord, right? So first we saw that why Arjuna was instructed, because it is the instruction given to us. The second, which we saw, the example which Srila Prabhupada gives is that when a girl is married in a family, what does the mother-in-law do? The mother-in-law does not want to spoil her relationship with the daughter-in-law. So what she will do? She will instruct the daughter instead. She will say that how many times have I told you to do this? Why can't you do this like this way? So what is she doing? She is indirectly telling the daughter-in-law the rules and regulations of the house. So why does the mother talk to the daughter? Because she knows that the daughter is dear to her. She will not take it in the other way. Same way, Arjuna was also dear to the Lord. So he knew that he is the surrendered soul and he can instruct him. Same way is Maharaj Priti. So Maharaj Prithu was a very fortunate soul who got the one-to-one mercy of the Lord and the instructions by the Lord. And then again, in one of the explanations, Srila Prabhupada has explained that Lord instructs only his close associates. The best example which we all know is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. In that, we have seen that Advaita Acharya, he wanted to be known as the he wanted to know that the people should know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Lord. But what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to Advaita Acharya. He used to he did not consider himself. Advaita Acharya felt that Mahaprabhu is giving him more respect. So he wanted that he should give more respect to the Lord, and he wanted the Lord to chastise him. So what did he do? He made a plan of going with the Advaita theory, going with the Mayavadi theory, and then he started preaching the Mayavadi theory. And what did the Lord do then? The Lord came and he was chastising the Advaita Acharya, that what are you doing this? And then he was literally hitting him. And then this act of the Lord really pleased Advaita Acharya. Right? Because he was a surrendered soul. And he wanted the Lord to know about the Lord's mercy to be known by everyone. So this such surrendered souls or the close associates of the Lord will help us to understand how to transcend this mode of material nature. Mode of material natures, because it's a rope which has been wound against each other, it is going to be really very hard to come out of it. But on our daily basis, on our everyday basis, with the help of our sadhana and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Guru, we will try our best. We should try our best to transcend from this modes of material nature, and we should come to the Shuddha Bhakti stage. I hope I haven't confused anyone, or I hope I haven't said anything wrong which is not given in our scripture. If I have said, please correct me, and please comment over wherever you feel. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sita Priti Mataji. Thank you so much. It was such a lovely class. Very, very nice. You had so many things to share with all of us. We are so happy to hear this class, Mataji. At least I am very happy because last time I missed it live. It was such a pleasure to hear you speak. Wonderful class, Mataji, with beautiful analogies and examples. Very, very easy to understand. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It's all, and thanks to Priti Vilasini Mataji, that I heard to her class on the Madhava group. I really recommend each one of you who has kids of the age group of 10 and above, that please join them to the Madhava group on the Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference, the Kids Academy. They are precious classes. If we also just go back to those classes, there is so much to learn. And for my small buddhi, the explanation which she gives really helps a lot. So thank you, Priti Vilasini Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I cannot take credit for that. It goes to everybody, many people actually. So anyway, thank you, Mataji, for the very, very lovely session today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very, very nice class, Mataji. Both of you. Priti Vilasini Mataji and Sita Priti Mataji. Very nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I have no question, but because hearing the class, explaining everything, there is no question. So very, very nicely explained. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Sita Priti Dasi, Dandras Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Such a nice presentation, and how nicely you explained and narrating the Shishi Bhagavatam. And Mataji, one more point you explained, that Prithu Maharaj, that forgiveness is the Vaishnava quality. Thank you very much, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Such a nice class. Please give your assistance regularly.
I'm working on that forgiveness part, Mataji, believe me. And that the forgiveness really helps a lot, because if we keep on, what I learned from Kalasudha Mataji's class was that if we keep on thinking about, this is what I have had experience, Mataji, so I can share this, that if we keep, like, if somebody does something and if we keep that in mind, it will just pollute ourselves. So the best is that the person whom you believe, the person whom you trust, and the person whom you feel that is really helping you in our spiritual life, if we just go and tell that person, if we know that okay, that person is not going to judge me for anything, if we go and tell that person, that thought will then go away. It will not eat your heart that oh, this happened with me, or it will not eat your mind that this happened with me, and you will not have that self-pity in on us that I was being humiliated or I was being doing this. So just go and tell to some person whom you feel is helping you in your spiritual life, and you will then gradually just forgive that person, because then you'll not think about it. This is my experience, so I could just add that point over there. So thanks to Kalasudha Mataji also for this explanation.
Hare Krishna, Sita Priti Mataji. Such a beautiful class, Mataji. Very, very beautiful class with lot many points. Wow, Mataji, you covered each and every point of the purport, Mataji. So beautifully narrated with such a beautiful example. Very, very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much. And one more thing, not only Madhava class, Govinda class is also very, very beautiful, Mataji. With your classes, I really, really love. The first class that I joined was, this session, Material World and Spiritual World. Such a beautiful analogy that you have given. Very nice, Mataji. I really like the classes. I also joined Govinda group. Govinda group also very beautiful classes, Mataji. Thank you so much for your always association in Govinda classes, Mataji. So beautiful. Hare Hare Bol, Mataji.
Mataji, I really, really appreciate your efforts on the Damodar group. You know, like when you are, what I feel is when your mind is so much cluttered and everything, you should just hear those tiny voices. It gives so much pleasure, and the way it is being explained by you all to come to their level is mind blowing. Is like it is just my mercy of Srila Prabhupada that you are able to do these services, and I just pray that you all go on doing these services for a long time.
Thank you, Mataji. It is all Priti Vilasini Mataji, Anjana Gopika Mataji. All glories to both of them, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Is there anyone who has any questions?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can you just repeat that analogy where you said that when you pour the milk into the glass? You remember that?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. So, Srila Prabhupada in one of his classes, he explained, let me just go back to the page and written it so that it's fine from the coordination. Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada, what he explains is that when you have to fill a glass of water, to replace a glass of water with milk, what you can do is, if you go on pouring the milk over in the glass which is filled with water, what will happen? The glass will neither have complete water in it, or neither it will have milk into it. So in this, it is that if we have to get devotion into our life, what we have to do is we have to get rid of the water if you have to get the milk into the glass, you have to get rid of the water. The same way, if we have to get devotion into our life, some non-self activities which we are doing, we have to get rid of that. So if we get rid of half the glass of water and then milk, and then put the glass of milk into it, what is going to happen? Again, it will not be totally pure, but again half water, half milk it will be there. So slowly what we can do is, we can totally remove the water and then fill the milk. So how do we explain that with our devotional life is, that instead of having mixed up everything, what we do is, okay, today I go to the temple this time, and then at night I go and see a movie. So this is mixing milk and water. On the other hand, what I can do is, if I replace it, slowly if I replace it one at a time, one devotional activity at a time, then my glass is going to be filled with the milk. That is the pure devotional service to the Lord. So it is like a detachment. Basically, Srila Prabhupada is explaining over here detachment from the material desires by giving this example.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The reason why I was asking you to repeat the analogy was because I feel like I've heard it. I've heard the analogy used in a slightly different way. You know, that you know, instead of our focusing. Okay, the way I've heard the analogy is like something like, you know, if you have ink in the glass, you know, instead of trying to remove the ink, you know, just pour milk into the glass. Just keep pouring more and more milk into the glass, and eventually, you know, all the ink will go, and it will be only milk. After enough time, there will only be milk. I think that analogy is used when people are concerned about the material aspects of their lives. You know, it's like the instruction is to just focus on increasing the devotion in your life, and then like naturally, you know, your attraction to the material things will go. You know, it's like or a similar analogy. The more you go east, the farther away you will be going from the west. You know, so yeah. So I was just. Yeah, I asked you to repeat the analogy because I was just trying to reconcile the use of, you know, it's like the same analogy to make two different points. I think the way I'm used to hearing the analogy is that, you know, instead of our focusing on detachment, you know, we should focus on dedication, and by that focus, the attachment to material things will go. I don't know if I put that in a clear way or not. But.
Yes, Mataji. Because we have an example of the honey also, right? Like if you keep pouring honey in the glass of water, then eventually the water will be replaced by the honey. So I think over here, if I'm not wrong, Srila Prabhupada explained about the detachment of the material desire and polluting of the spiritual thoughts. I think this is what he had explained. I'll go back to it and I'll put it up, Mataji, where the lecture was. Because he explained over here that you have to detach, because the milk and water mixing will pollute both of the milk and the water. So this is polluting our spiritual thoughts, I think, with the explanation of the material desire. But thank you, Mataji. It is a nice example. I'll also go through it.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is there anybody having any more questions for Mataji?
Mataji, it was a wonderful class. You have simplified the verses so much, and you gave so many examples, so many different analogies, and how to use all of our senses, you know, listening, watching, performing, whatever we are doing, you know, how to use it in the service of Krishna, or do devotional activities with it. I really liked how you gave examples for each one, you know, sense of touch, sense of hearing, seeing, whatever you're watching or hearing, you try to make sure that you replace material, material things with more spiritually inclined, like things that can turn you towards devotional service. And the advice that you gave on when we are chanting japa, like each bead, we should think that we are touching the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. That was also a very, very beautiful example, and something that I could practically start following, practicing in my life too. Thank you so much, Mataji. Is there anyone else who has any questions?
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Sita, Priti, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A very wonderful class, Mataji. so beautiful analogies, and you explained everything so well, Mataji, in a practical way. It is so inspiring to me personally, Mataji. Thank you so much for this beautiful class, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Supriya Mataji. Thank you so much. It's all whatever I've heard from the acharyas, just trying to imitate that or reproduce that in some way. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. If there are no other questions, we can end here. Thank you very much, Mataji, for your very enlightening class today, and we are very, very grateful to you. We look forward to your association. Please give us more classes. Everyone has requested for that too, again in the future. If nobody has any questions, we can end the call here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, हर ग्रेस सीता प्रीति माताजी की जय,
की जय,
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare